Hi guys, welcome back. This is Chris, aka Big Will, coming to you with episode 20. And for this episode, we have away games on Boxing Day against Barnsley and then 2 days later against Norwich. As you can see by the league table, we remain 8 points clear of Watford. We have had a decent run of form once again, and since that defeat against Watford, we have continued to win quite well with 3 consecutive clean sheets. We haven't won in terms of scoring a lot of goals, but when we have done it, we've played really well and we are looking strong once again. Hopefully, we can break the curse a little bit with these videos at the moment where we suffer a defeat, but they are 2 tough away games. I mean, Norwich currently just outside the playoff places, and Barnsley aren't far behind them either, so they will be good tests for us with the current squad that we've managed to bring together. I'm quite looking forward to the January transfer window. I do have a couple of targets in mind just to strengthen the squad a little bit more, but we'll have to wait and see whether we can bring any of them in or not. So here we go for this away game against Barnsley. Like I say, we're in good form, 3 consecutive clean sheets. I am hopeful that we can continue in this vein and get another good result. Like I say, Barnsley in good form as well, being just outside the playoffs. So with a bit of luck, we can put a dent in their playoff chase. And Richard Edgehill, as you can see there, is playing at right back for them. We did sell him to them this season for £500,000. So we've already had an attempt at goal, as we can see there. We've got a lot of the ball at the moment as well. But in terms of highlights, Barnsley have got an opportunity with Theo Janssen with the free kick, and it's a brilliant effort, and Weaver does superbly to get across and just get his fingertips to it to knock it wide. Really good save from Nicky Weaver there. Georgiadis with the resulting corner looks to play it in to the centre of the penalty area. It's headed away strongly, and the highlight finishes with that clearance. There's not really been much going on so far in the opening quarter of an hour, but we do have a highlight now with Van Boyten's throw. Kevin Davis back to Van Boyten, looks to play it into the penalty area. He looked for Sean Wright-Phillips, who couldn't get onto it, and Sharon's managed to clear. There's no defenders here, and Theo Janssen's through for Barnsley. Surely it's going to be 1-0. Weaver, superb from him there. Absolutely brilliant to make the save. One-on-one. Absolutely outstanding. He's kept us level here with that save. What a fantastic bit of goalkeeping. Very poor defensively though, they completely broke through us there, and we're going to have to be a lot more wary of that counter-attack. And yet despite that, 2 of our defenders are rating 7s at the moment, so I'm not entirely sure how that works. Luchetti couldn't win the hand of Van Boyten, managed to get in there well. Sean Wright-Phillips charging down this right-hand side, has support arriving in the penalty area. He looks to play the cross in, Cal Court's there, and it's just wide from Cal Court, who, to my knowledge, he is the top goal scorer in the league at the moment. He's been absolutely outstanding. Hopefully he can continue with his goal scoring run today. Crew away at Watford at the moment as well. Hopefully Sean Gota will be able to do us a favour in that game and put Crew in with a good chance in that game. And it's just about trickled in there. A bundled ball in the penalty area, and Roberts, oh, it's been disallowed for offside, but warning there from Barnsley. We can't rest on our laurels here. We've got to be on point. Goal disallowed. It remains 0-0 at half time. And it's not been a convincing performance by any stretch. I'm not particularly happy with the way that we're playing, and I've let the players know this, so hopefully we can push on in this second half. As it stands as well, Watford and Crew are still at 0-0, and Norwich, who we're playing next, are 3-0 up away from home with a Neil Shipley hat-trick in there at the moment. Calcourt looking to get in over the top there. Bellamy does well to find Kevin Davis. Now Scott Parker plays it out wide to Matthew Upson, who's got a bit of space to run into here down that left-hand side. He looks to play the ball in, and he does well to find Calcourt almost, but it's cleared away. And it's come down for Sharon, but Scott Parker does well to get in with a challenge. Now Michael Brown again, back to Daniel Van Boyten. Michael Brown again, has support ahead of him, finds Wright-Phillips into Calcourt, who manages to do well with the volley, but he hits the post, and it's come back out again. We still have possession though, and we're looking to build once again, but unfortunately, we lose out. Really positive move there, but we've really got to be taking these chances, especially at 0-0. Georgiadis with the set piece for Barnsley, looks to the far post, and it's just about, I think it's hit the crossbar, and it's been cleared away, and it remains 0-0. I think we're going to have to make some substitutions in a minute or two. Um, with it remaining 0-0, we've not had many attempts on target either, but both sides have hit the woodwork. And yeah, we're going to make some changes. Craig Bellamy is on a yellow card. We're going to bring Wayne Bridge on further forward. Sibierski is going to come on, I think, for Kevin Davis. And we're going to bring Andy Johnson on for Kyle Court. And Van Boynton, I don't really want to take him off, but he is on a yellow card. We'll bring Jody Craddock on, and we'll leave that last sub just in case we need it. And as you can see with the players we've taken off, 6.5, 6.4, 6.4, 6.4, they've not had very good games, those players today, and it has been quite telling, unfortunately. We do have a set piece here with Sean Wright-Phillips, who looks to deliver into the far post. It's cleared away by Dyer, but only as far as Scott Parker. In the end, he has to play it back to Matthew Upson, who looks for support, finds Jody Craddock. We've got to be careful here. If Barnsley break, they've got 4 players available to go forward. Here's Jody Craddock, does well, holds it to Danny Mills. Danny Mills plays it down the right-hand side. Right, Phillips couldn't beat Edgehill to the ball, and he plays it back to his goalkeeper. This is Reeves with the clearance, but Marcel didn't make the run, and Jody Craddock latches onto it nicely. He looks over the top for Sean Wright-Phillips. I thought there was a hint of offside. It didn't quite come through, but it's Andy Johnson. Oh, he's hit the woodwork, and it couldn't come back down to him. He still waits for his first goal for the senior side. He's been in good form for our under-21s, though. Very unlucky there. And it remains 0-0. Smith does well to win the header. Sibierski to Upson. Now Wayne Bridge needs support and finds Mark Smith. Very composed from Wayne Bridge on that left-hand side. Michael Brown's over the top, and Andy Johnson could be in, and Andy Johnson scores! A hugely important goal here. 8 minutes left in the match, plus added time, and Andy Johnson has his first senior goal for the club. Brilliant stuff. He used his pace to perfection there to beat the offside trap. And we have a 1-goal lead. Dyer looks to clear here for Barnsley. Scott Parker gets onto it. He has support ahead of him, looks over the top, and Wayne Bridge almost got there. And it's fallen for Sibierski, who finds Wright-Phillips, and Andy Johnson! Oh, should have been 2-0. He puts it just wide of the post. And it's now a chance maybe here for Barnsley. It's Roberts in that central midfield area into Marcel. He looks to strike it, but he's played it out wide to Charles, who's completely free. He plays it to the penalty area. Mike Sharon does it again against us. He scores every time against us. Well, the offside's been given there. I'm not entirely sure why. I thought it was a perfectly legitimate goal, that one. I mean, I'm quite happy to take it. It remains 1-0. Watford are still 0-0 as well, and Norwich 4-0 up in their game. But if Watford finishes 0-0, we will extend our lead at the top of the table, thanks to that Andy Johnson goal. I think we got away with it a bit there. Obviously, they had 2 goals disallowed. But in terms of our match statistics, the 4 players we brought off didn't do too well. But, I mean, when you look at the players we brought on, I mean, Wright-Phillips had a 7.6 there. Sibierski came on with a 7. Andy Johnson scored. He got a 7.8. Very, very positive performance. A good 1-0 win. So I'm really happy with that as we head towards the away game against Norwich next up. And they ended up winning 4-0, I think, in the end. We do have a 10-point lead now at the top of the table as we hit the halfway point of the season. Yeah, Neil Shipley actually scored all 4 goals for Norwich. And he's a decent finisher for sure, but it's them physical attributes. He's got a lot of pace, and he certainly proved too much for Crystal Palace in that game. So as we come towards this away game against Norwich, they have been a bit of a bogey team for us. We lost against them twice last season in the league, and I'm hoping we'll be able to just push ourselves on a little bit more for this next game. It's a game that I want us to win. It'll certainly show signs of development if we do, especially considering, like I say, we lost twice against them last season. So it is going to be a tough game, but hopefully we can end that losing streak against them and create a little win streak against some of our own. So Bellamy, of course, is going to be returning to Norwich for this game. He started his career at Norwich in this save, to my knowledge. Yes, he did. He starts at Norwich, and as you can see, he scored plenty of goals and played extremely regularly for them. And so far, he's got 7 goals in 21 games for us with 8 assists. So he's been a lot more creative for us in terms of getting assists. He's got more assists this season than he had done in any season for Norwich. But in terms of goals, he is lacking a little bit. But we are playing him on the left-hand side rather than up front, But we're only halfway through the season, and his best scoring season was 15 goals. And to be quite honest, with the way that he's playing, I think he could beat that this season. Um, he's looking very, very sharp, and at this level, I think he's certainly very comfortable, and I think he's ready for the Premier League. To be honest, same with Carl Court. A number of our players, I think, are ready for the Premier League, which certainly shows in the fact that we're playing so well at this level at the moment. But we really need to keep on top of our form. We've got a 10-point lead, which is quite comfortable, but we can't rest on that. We've got to push on and try and get as many points as possible at this point in the season. The other advantage of that, of course, is we'd be able to play some of the younger players toward the end of the season if that's the case. If we can confirm the title early doors, we could be in a good position just to rotate a little bit more and give some of our other players a chance to shine. So for this game, obviously there has to be a little bit of rotation, purely because of the fact that the game against Barnsley was just a couple of days ago. So Weaver remains in goal. We've got Nicky Shorey starting at left back with Craddock and Van Boyten and Carr at right back there. We've got Pollock and Kumas as the midfield pair with Sibierski starting behind Calcourt. Davis and Bridge are going to start out wide. In terms of the bench, we've got Langfield on the bench as our sub-goalkeeper. Damien Francis may end up leaving in this transfer window. He's unhappy at the amount of playing time he's getting at the minute. Michael Brown, Andy Johnson, Mark Smith, Michael Carrick and Craig Bellamy are on the bench. Michael Carrick's largely playing for our under-21s at the moment, but he is gradually improving, and it shouldn't be too much longer, hopefully, before he starts getting ready for that first team role. And I think when it comes to the summer, Jamie Pollock might be someone that we look to move on. He's been a very important player for us, but depending on who we get to bring in January, it might be something that happens sooner. But we will have to wait and see what happens in the transfer window. So here we go for the game away at Norwich. It's going to be a tough game, like I say. They're in good form as well, as they just entered the playoffs places after that huge win away at Palace. Here's Nicky Weaver to Van Boyten. Into Stephen Carr. We're looking to build straight from the back here. Jason Kumas into Kevin Davis. What a brilliant pass over the top. Cal Court looks to beat the goalkeeper to it, and he has. And I thought for a minute there, Emberson managed to make the claim, but he didn't. And Kyle Court manages to whimper the ball back, and it's a very easy finish for him once he gets it off the keeper. It's 1-0 here at Carrow Road. Here's Summerby now with the set piece for Norwich. Looking over to the far post, it's cleared away by Kyle Court. And Vanaza from distance, but it's a comfortable save from Nicky Weaver. Good positioning there from the goalkeeper. And he looks to press on from the back here. And he's decided to go long with the kick. Sibierski couldn't get there ahead of Cummings, and this is Vernaza into Myers now. Back to Ashley Cole, who's there on loan, I think. I'm assuming it's Ashley Cole. Here's Cummings. Now into Shipley. Shipley into Myers, and Weaver, I think he touched it onto the post in the end, and it came back to him, and he managed to make the claim. Very, very close there. Watford and Barnsley are actually playing one another as well. It's 1-1 after only 7 minutes in that game. Here's Vernaza with a free kick. It's just over the crossbar. It remains 1-0. So Norwich are having the majority of the chances. We've had that one attempt and scored it. Norwich are having a lot more opportunities than we are at the minute. Jamie Pollock with a corner kick looking to the far post. Calcourt does well, but couldn't win it at the time. But it's fallen for Jason Kumas, and it's almost gone in, and it's just about cleared by Emberson there. It was almost 2-0, very much against the run of play, but given the way the things are going, I won't mind that at all. Hopefully we continue to put the pressure on. Nicky Shorey to Antoine Sibierski with the throw. Here's Shorey again, looking over the top. He didn't really aim at anybody there. Summerby's done well to keep that header in from Cooper, and he looks long, and Douglas is in behind Nicky Shorey here. It's not good awareness from the young left back, and Douglas looks set to try and put the ball into the penalty area. Craddock did superbly there. Nicky Shorey does well to clear, as does Wayne Bridge into Sibierski, and we could break forward here. Calcourt's made a good run. He came deep though in the end, but he's found Kevin Davis with a brilliant pass, and Davis went for the lob, and it's gone wide. Very unlucky. Well worked move in the end. We did well on that left hand side to get possession back after the initial error in positional play from Nicky Shorey. Here's Jody Craddock into Jamie Pollock now. Looking over the top for Sibierski. Cole intercepts and plays it back to goalkeeper Emberson, who looks long for Douglas. I think Jody Craddock's got the better of him in the air at the moment. Pollock looks long over to the left hand side. Wainbridge gets onto it. Tries to cross it first time and Cal Court's at the far post. Emberson must have flapped at it there, but it fell for Calcourt right on the goalkeeper's line. It's 2-0 and a very, very positive looking first half here at 2-0. Even though, like I say, originally Norwich were the better side, but we have actually created more chances than them now. We've certainly had the better play in this last 15 minutes or so of the match. Craddock looks over the top here and Wainbridge is in behind. Surely not three, it is. Wainbridge makes it 3-0. And it certainly looks like it's going to be game over here. Norwich have absolutely collapsed at the back here. And it looks like we're heading back to Main Road with another 3 points. Really good stuff here. And Watford remain at 1-1 as well. So again, we could gain another 2 points on them as it stands. Absolutely fantastic stuff there. Half time 3-0. And as you can see, in terms of chances created, we've completely overtaken Norwich for the second half of that first half. And it's certainly shown with 2 goals in 2 minutes there as well. And it's made us very, very comfortable in the match. And as we go into the second half, yeah, it's a bit of a risk when it's 3-0 because you think, well, the players will carry on doing their jobs, but occasionally complacency can creep in. And Norwich are a good side. We don't want anything like that to happen. They have had the better of us a few times. So I've told the players not to let complacency come into the game. Make sure that they're focused and we can see out this match. With half an hour to go, we are looking at making some changes. Van Boynton is going to come off and Mark Smith is going to come on. Not only was Van Boynton on the yellow card, but he is struggling for his fitness now. We're going to bring Kevin Davis off as well, I think. And I'm not entirely sure who to bring on, actually. Wright Phillips isn't on the bench. He's not fully fit. So I think I'll push Jason Kumas onto that right-hand side, just as a bit of a change of position for him. We'll bring Damien Francis on, give him a bit of game time as well. I might actually move Sibierski wide right. He can play there a little bit better. Bellamy's going to come on for that extra assurance in there. And we'll take Jamie Pollock off and give Michael Carrick some game time as well. And we'll leave it at that for now. And I do plan on bringing Andy Johnson on. But we'll see if Calcourt wants to stay on for his hat-trick. He's still quite good in terms of fitness for the game, Calcourt. So we'll see what happens. Watford have absolutely destroyed Barnsley so far in the second half with a 13-minute hat-trick from Thomas Moore. He's got all 4 goals in that game. So he's certainly done his job there. Well, as the game looks set to come to near to an end here, it's been a quiet second half in this Norwich match. And it remains 3-0. Norwich are in possession now with Cooper and now Cummings. Cummings looks over the top. There is pressure on Nicky Shorey and he holds on to it and he needs to make the turn and he does well. And Craig Bellamy couldn't quite win it off Bonalaire and it's back with Cooper. And Norwich look forward again. Kemp is there and Kemp is in and Kemp has scored. Fires it across the goalkeeper. It's his first goal of the season. He's actually been given as offside again. We're getting a bit lucky in this episode in terms of offsides, I think. It was a very close run thing once again. I think what we're going to do, we're going to bring Sibierski off, and we will give Andy Johnson some game time, but we'll bring him on that right-hand side, I think. Just because of his pace, largely, I think he'll slot in quite nicely there. Watford are actually 5-1 up now against Barnsley as well. Goodmanson with the 5th goal for them. Jody Craddock in possession to Nicky Shorey. We've got an opportunity maybe here just to add a 4th right at the end of the game. Craddock looks over the top here to Craig Bellamy, who plays it in looking for Calcourt. It's cleared by Cummings, and Damien Francis tried to win it ahead of Michael Carrick there instead of just letting Carrick get on with it. But this is Myers now. Down this left-hand side for Norwich into O'Neill, and it's a comfortable save for Nicky Weaver. And it looks like we're set for consecutive clean sheets in an episode for the first time in quite a while as well. Here's Bellamy, plays it through for Calcourt. He is on a hat-trick. Can he get it? No. Emberson makes the save. And bit of a shame that he couldn't top the game off with a hat-trick there, Calcourt. He's been outstanding all season. He deserves it today. He's worked very hard. Kumas with the delivery. Calcourt was attacking it, but Emberson, again, makes a good claim. And the full-time whistle goes. It's a 3-0 win, following on from that brilliant result at Barnsley as well. Really happy with that. Our clean sheet run continues. That's 5 in a row now. And looking at it, we're 10 points clear still. Obviously, Watford did win in that last game. But looking at the league table, we're actually 21 points clear of third place Crystal Palace. So we're looking very strong for promotion here. It's just a case of it's just a case of will we win the league title, or will Watford have something to say about it. So looking a little bit further ahead, obviously we got Coventry at the start of January there. We're going to get the transfer window out of the way, and we will come back for an update in terms of what has happened in the transfer window. And in doing so, that means we'll come back in February. So we'll skip all of the January side out of it. And I think what we'll do, well, there's another derby game there against Stockport County. So I think we'll come back for that one, and potentially Huddersfield at home. We'll see what happens in terms of FA Cup ties as well, because the FA Cup draw should be in place at some point as well. And that should be coming in January as well, I would have thought, the FA Cup draw. So that'll be an extra game in there, and if we can get through that, we might have another game to bring you in February, if it is the FA Cup tie there. So guys, I hope you have enjoyed this episode. Really good wins once again, 5 straight clean sheets. We'll come back for the start of February, maybe an FA Cup tie, depending on how we get on in the competition. Please like and subscribe if you are enjoying this channel content so far, and I will see you all next time. This is Big Will signing away.